In the last episode Kokuen came to attack Ushio's mother and Inoue, but at the same time Sumako, Kiryu and Kuin had also arrived there. On the other hand, Nigeria decides to send forth their spiritual energy, and continue building the barrier's walls. Just then Satoru and Jun also come here, and Satoru asks them to concentrate on the barrier, while he will stop Kokuen's attack. Jun then agrees to help Satoru as well. On the other hand, Hinawa has also come here and she tells Shigure, "You do as Nigeria requested and leave this to me." Hearing this, he immediately leaves from here. But now Hinawa says, "I have come this far and still all I can do is back Ushio up. But it is strange, because I am not frustrated by that anymore. And my sadness at not being born a man, my frustration at being unable to succeed the beast's spear are disappeared." Now Hinawa realized that she was consumed by those feelings. So she decides that even though she is not a man and not the true successor, she will try her best and gets ready to stop Kokuen. Here Hakuman injures Tora, because Tora is starting to weaken in front of him. Hakuman then starts telling Tora, "Do you actually think that you can defeat me? But I am sure you do not, because you are weak." Which means that you do not fight for something as great as justice. So no matter how much you say that you want to save the humans, you would have to head into the dark night of despair, because delusions that were born from your unwillingness to believe just how weak you truly are. So you must have known that I shall bring forth the night to you in this country. Now Tora gets angry after hearing this. Just then Ushio also walks out and says, "No matter how hard someone tries, there are people who cannot be saved. But even then it is not like I can give up. However, I am not really sure if it is just self-satisfaction. But if someone can be saved and I can cry all of someone's tears for them, then I will wish that I will cry as many times as it takes." Ushio then stands in front of Hakuman again and gets ready to fight with him. Seeing this, Hakuman says, "You insist on fighting even though you know you have lost." Then Ushio says that we are going to win. And your night is never coming again. Because we are not the only ones fighting you. But right now we are fighting along with the sun. On this Hakuman says, "That will do you no good when I am going to immediately pulverize you." Suddenly the beast's spear starts consuming Ushio's soul. Now it seems that Ushio will also turn into a beast. But he requests the beast's spear and says, "I have not finished fighting Hakuman yet, so please wait just a bit longer." Now Tora gets very upset by this, because he does not want to see Ushio turn into a beast. So he says to Azafuses, "You guys said you were gonna make me stronger. So make me stronger right now." Then Azafuse says that you are already strong. But Tora does not understand the meaning of his words. Then Azafuse tells him that you are special, because even though you were once a human who wielded the spear just as we were, but you were able to remain alive for this past year without turning to stone. Do you not realize it? However, Tora does not fully understand his point. After this, the Azafuses get angry. They say that despite how much you hate Hakuman, why do you not end up like this? And then they took Hakuman's form. Ushio is also surprised to see this, because he did not even understand what was happening. Now Azafuses start saying, humans who have wielded the spear and done nothing but pursue Hakuman, eventually have their souls shattered and become beasts. And the beasts become the Azafuse. But despite becoming Azafuse, our hatred for Hakuman does not disappear. So we become him. Now Hakuman was very happy about this, because the beast spear is making more of him. However, he thinks that there is no reason for more of him to exist. So he attacks to destroy them. But Tora saves himself and Ushio just in time. Azafuses tells Tora, "You encountered that boy but we did not. So you have consumed many things from that boy. That is why you are strong. But if only we had encountered someone like you too. We are not turned into stone." Now they go to attack Hakuman. Seeing this, he also prepares himself and attacks them. But the Azafuses still do not give up and gets destroyed after attacking Hakuman. Seeing this, Ushio and Tora also immediately start attacking him together. However, Tora is worried about Ushio. Then Ushio tells him, "It looks like the spear's gonna wait for me." After this, Ushio starts attacking Hakuman very angry, but he could not understand what things he has consumed from Ushio, and what made him stronger. Now troops have also come here, so Osha tells them, "The only thing we can do is keep Hakuman inside the barrier." Then Shino says to protect the Kazuchi from the Kokuen. Hearing this, the troops get ready to help them and they start killing Kokuen and Hyayu. On the other hand, some Kokuen show up in front of Nakamura's parents' shop. Seeing this, all the people get ready to face them. But at the same time, Baldender comes here and saves them from Kokuen's attack. Now Nakamura gets happy seeing him here. On the other hand, Hiyama and Reiko also come to Saya and Omamori, because with all of this going on they were worried about Saya. Suddenly Kokuen comes to attack them. Seeing this, Omamori immediately uses her power to stop them. Because this gate is very important, so she decides to protect it with her life. However, Omamori is unable to stop them, because she do not have that much power. Now everyone gets very scared because of this. But at the same time a giant hand stops Kokuen, which is actually the soul of Reiko's father, and disappears after some time. Meanwhile, Kokuen comes to attack again. But this time a plane comes out of the gate and stops them, which was the soul of Hiyama's father. After this everyone becomes very emotional. Here Hakuman, Tora and Ushio come face to face. Ushio tells Hakuman, "You are afraid of the beast spear after all." Then Hakuman says, "I have already won against the beast spear." Hearing this, Ushio says, "Back then I lost my senses because of my hatred of you. But right now I am so calm that even I am surprised. And the beast spear is telling me to carefully observe your movements, to see where you're looking, because you keep trying to distance yourself from the spear. And you are always looking at the beast spear." On this Hakuman says, "That does not mean anything." Then Ushio says, "Your ace is in the hole shaped like the spear. That itself is proof that you acknowledge the spear's powers." Hearing this, Tora starts laughing and tells Ushio, "You are exactly right. Because that Hakuman is scared of the spear." After this Tora tells Hakuman, "You always look up at us. You are indeed a great and ultimate yokai, I will admit that. But why are you not looking down on us? Because the king looks down on those who are below him. And yet you are always looking up at us from below. So that means those are the eyes of jealousy. And you are afraid of the beast spear, because all of the beings of Yang brought here by Ushio, so you are jealous of those things." Tora then asks him that you are terrified, aren't you? Hearing this Hakuman gets very angry. He tells Tora, "That is precisely correct. Because I loathe beings of light." He then starts attacking them. Seeing this, both try to avoid his attack. But this time Hakuman injures both of them badly. Now he starts saying, "Why was I born in the yin and the darkness? Before the kingdoms had taken shape, they were just the clear and pure energy. They rose up and became people, while the impure evil energy remained at the bottom and became me." But actually Hakuman did not want to be this. Then Tora starts telling him, there was a guy named Nagare. He told Ushio that he is so bright that he looked up to him, and wanted to be like him. But Nagare knew that he could not become Ushio, so he became his enemy instead. And you are just like Nagare. Because the humans are so bright that you cannot see them, and you are terrified of them. Hearing this, Ushio starts thinking about Nagare and says that it was my fault. Just then the souls of Hayu and Nagare come here, and destroy Hakuman's tail with their power. After this Tora tells Hakuman, "You admired them but hated them. And you are afraid of them." Hayu tells Ushio, "Do not let the enemy trick you," and then he disappears. Nagare then says, "I was able to get myself back because I met you, though it was a little late." And after that he also disappears. Ushio then gets ready to fight Hakuman again. He starts attacking him, and simultaneously, Tora also starts attacking. But he also feels like something has changed about him. On the other hand, other people are also fighting with Kokuen. But they were in great numbers. So Kiryu could not hold them for long. Just in time Shigure comes here and saves his wife. But after a long time she had seen Shigure, so she is surprised. Then Shigure tells her, "Let's hurry up and end this so we can go home." After this, all together start stopping Kokuen and protecting the barrier. Meanwhile, Reishin and Kagari get caught in the middle of Kokuen, after which Kagari starts remembering about Juoru. Suddenly Kokuens come to attack them, but at the same time Juoru's soul comes here and saves both of them. But he then immediately disappears from here as well. Seeing which Kagari gets sad and Reishin says that he saved us. Now the poisonous gas also starts clearing from here, and we see that Hakuman has badly injured Ushio and Tora. He starts telling them, "You have done well to bring me to this point. So right now I shall admit that I fear the beast spear. But do you think that will quell my hatred?" Now Hakuman gets very angry and says, "These eyes have shown you everything about me?" But after that he gouge out his own eyes. Seeing this, Ushio is completely shocked, and Hakuman angrily says, "I no longer care about destroying humans and monsters. I will just kill the two of you." He starts attacking them at very high speed. And both are unable to save themselves from his attacks. Now Ushio wonders how can Hakuman know where they are? Then Hakuman says, "I can sense the presence of the beast spear, but you cannot do anything." Now Shino and Osha are also surprised by Hakuman's speed, because they cannot do anything in such a situation. Hakuman comes to attack again. Seeing this, Ushio asks Tora, "Is there nothing we can do?" Then Tora says that there is still a way, and stab himself with the beast's spear. Because of this, Hakuman is no longer able to sense the beast's spear, and this makes him very angry. Ushio tries to take the beast spear out of his body, but he forbids him to do so. He tells Ushio that 500 years ago, a samurai challenged me when I was wreaking havoc on this land. He wielded the spear and got me. At that moment, my memories flooded back in an instant like a tsunami, but the samurai was in the middle of becoming a beast just like you are now. And from behind, there were a mountain of Hyayu coming at us to destroy the beast's spear. The samurai knew that if he parted with the spear, the Hyayu would destroy it, so then I decided to hide the spear within me. Ushio gets shocked knowing about this. Then Tora says, even though it had me pinned for 500 years, but it could not destroy me. That's when Hakuman also learns that Tora hid the spear within him, and he decides to kill both of them in any condition. Then Tora says, I think we might finally be able to end this now. But Ushio does not want Tora to die, so he tries to take out the beast's spear. Because this time the beast's spear is at full power, then Tora says, do you want Hakuman to kill everyone else? However, monsters were my enemy and humans were my food, but it pisses me off to think about Hakuman killing anything else. Hearing this, Ushio becomes very emotional, and he says that it is all right, Tora, but I am not going to let you be the only one that looks cool. After this, both go together to attack Hakuman. Seeing this, Hakuman also attacks them with his power, but Ushio comes in front of Tora, because he does not want anything to happen to him. Now Tora gets angry with him, but Hakuman was now very close to them, so Ushio takes out the beast spear and goes to attack with Tora. Then we see that the beast spear's full power is activated, and both attack Hakuman with the beast spear, but this time he is unable to stop the attack and gets badly injured. Now Hakuman cannot believe he can die, because he thought he was immortal and invincible. He then says, so long as you hate me I will never die. Along with this he also takes the name Shagakusha. But Tora says, for whatever reason I just do not hate you anymore, because nothing comes of hatred. Along with this, he was also remembering Rama and his sister. Then Hakuman says before he dies, someone say my name in a quiet voice, because my name is not Hakuman. But he is unable to tell anything beyond this, and his last tale also gets destroyed, in which we see a picture of a baby, and Ushio is surprised to see this. This is how Hakuman gets destroyed and everything calms down here. Now Ushio wonders if Hakuman wanted to become a baby. Then Tora says that I have no idea, but that was a good way to go. However, he was badly injured, so he understands that he does not have much longer either. Seeing him in this condition, Ushio gets very emotional. Then Tora says, beast, do not cry, because you will never be me. Hearing this, Ushio says, don't you dare die yet, because you are gonna eat me, aren't you? But now Tora's body starts being destroyed. Still he is happy and tells Ushio that I already did. After this, he changes in energy and disappears in the sky. This makes Ushio very sad, but now he could do nothing. Suddenly his body starts changing into beast. Seeing this, he thinks that he is going to turn into a beast after all, and he will become Tora. That's when GMA and Gurayu's souls come out of the beast spear. Then Ushio tells them that we did it. But after this, beast spear gets destroyed, and GMA tells Ushio that we cannot thank you enough. So let us our souls now rest within the warmth of your soul, because then you will not become a beast. After this, Ushio's body becomes normal again. Then he faints and starts falling down from here. On the other hand, Saya decides to go to the underworld, because the gate to the underworld can only be shut from inside. So she has to go in and shut it herself. Hearing this, Reiko and Hiyama get worried. Just then Omamori decides to sacrifice herself. Seeing this, Saya forbids her to do so. Then Omamori says, my escort has already arrived, so you need not worry. After this, Omamori goes inside the gate, where Saya's mother's soul had come to pick her up. Now Saya becomes very emotional on seeing her mother, but Omamori shuts the door and tells her to take care of herself, after which the gate also disappears from here. On the other hand, Shigure holds Ushio in his arms, and Inoue is also deeply saddened by Tora's death. Now Osha tells everyone, you guys did pretty well yourselves, and please tell Ushio that he did well. After this, all yokai start going somewhere. Seeing this, Ushio's mother immediately asks about it. Then Osha explained that this country is starting to sink, so we monsters will turn to stone and support the parts that collapsed. And it is a good thing Ushio is asleep, because he would probably try to fight us to make sure we did not go. But we are not going for your sake, because the reason is we love this country, so never forget that we live within this country's foundation. After this, all yokai leave from here. But Osha tells Reishin, Kagari and Izuna to stay here, because they have been deeply involved with the humans, so they need to stay behind, because it will be lonely, if none of they remain when they come back. Next we see Inoue, who is going to college with Kiryu, but she still cry when she hear the word hamburger. Seeing this, Kiryu immediately takes her with him and says, "I will eat all the hamburgers around you." On the other hand, Ushio is about to be late for school, that's why his father gets angry with him. But he doesn't want to leave behind the food that his mom made. After this, Ushio leaves to go to college, but he stops suddenly in front of the warehouse, because he misses Tora and this makes him sad. In the last scene, the mirror expert explains, once humans die in the earth they will never return to this world. But those who do return to this world that are yokai, so maybe someday Tora will return. After this the story ends. Please complete 4,000 likes and let me know in the comments, which anime recap do you want next. But if you have missed the previous parts, then definitely watch the playlist of the left side. Also subscribe to Annie Summary and set the notification to all for more interesting anime recaps.